right, class, this is part 2 of the lesson showing the whiteboard section of the lesson and the teaching that would take place with students. Okay, class, I just want to remind you that our 2 folk tales are the Golden Swan and the Golden Egg. And I want to just review what we just talked about folk tales. We know that they are spoken. We know that they get passed down to us from our parents, our aunts and uncles, our grandparents, the community we live in, our town. In fact, every place in the world has folk tales. Sometimes the folk tales change a little bit as they're retold. And do you remember this fact too, students? Folk tales often teach us a lesson. That's why they're special kinds of stories. So let's think about the lesson that we might learn today. So I talked a little bit about a Venn diagram, and I want you to look at the shape. You see it's 2 circles and they're connected. And Venn diagrams help us to see what is the same. They help us to see what is different. And in the end, they help us to compare and contrast. And what's that word compare? What does that word mean again? Excellent. Compare means to find things that are the same. And what does that word contrast mean? Very good. We're looking for things that are different. So in our Venn diagram for the golden swan and the golden egg, in the middle of the Venn diagram, we're going to list things that are the same in both stories. That shows how they're connected. On the left side of the circle, we're going to list details that describe the golden swan. On the right side of the circle, we're going to list details that describe the golden egg. So let's begin thinking about this. The golden swan, the golden egg, and things that are the same. I'm going to help us get started because I know that in both stories, one big thing that's the same in both is that we had gold. Now, we've learned that in folk tales, we have animal and human or people characters. Let's think about the animal characters first. Can anyone tell me what is the main animal character in the Golden Swan? Aha, very good. It was a swan. Who knows the main character of the golden egg that's an animal? What kind of animal did we have in the golden egg? Very good. It was a goose. Now, if you remember yesterday's lesson, at the end of the lesson, we talked about the swan and the goose. And we talked about that they are both animals, and they're the same kind of animal. A swan and a goose are both examples of birds. So we know that there's gold in both stories, and we know that both stories have birds as the main character. Now, what are the main characters that are human? Let's think about that. In the Golden Swan, what are the human characters that you remember? Ah, very good. A mother and 2 daughters. But I don't think we had a mother and 2 daughters in the golden egg. Who remembers the main characters of the golden egg that were humans? Very good. A farmer and wife. Now, what did the mother and 2 daughters and the farmer and wife have in common? The main characters are poor. So they were both poor. So we know that both stories are about gold, both stories are about birds, and both stories have main characters that are poor. Now, if we think about the gold, I don't think they got the gold in the same way in both stories. In the Golden Swan, how did the mother and daughters get gold? From the golden feathers. But in the golden egg, it was a little different. How did the goose present gold to the farmer and wife? Golden eggs. Excellent, excellent. And they got so much gold. The mother and 2 daughters and the farmer and wife had so much gold that the mother and the farmer in the other story, they both wanted more and more and more. They really wanted to be rich. They wanted more than they really needed. What's a word that describes that? Yes, the word is greedy, and we've talked about that word. So we know the things that are the same is that both stories had gold, the animal main characters were birds. We know that the main characters might have been different, but we know that they were all poor, and we know that the main characters were very greedy. They wanted more and more gold. Now I want you to get with your partner. Now we're going to start our think, pair, share. First, I want you to talk with your partner about what greedy means. What does it mean to be greedy? Then I want you to think about how was the character greedy in the Golden Swan? And please use the picture to help you if you forget. And then lastly, how was the character greedy in the Golden Egg? And here's a picture of that to help you. The two stories are the same because fill in the blank with your partner. The two stories are different because fill in the blank again with your partner. And then on your own, I want you to do some writing. Or if you'd like to work with your partner, you can. I want you to write one sentence about each story. I want you to write one sentence how the stories are the same. I want you to write one sentence how the stories are different. And then lastly, all by yourself and not with a partner, write one sentence about being greedy. Do you think being greedy is a good or bad way to act? And when you're finished, we'll share your final answers. Thank you, class.